Hi.
Nice to see you. Thank you for joining me in my Wilde Space.
Oh, it's such a pleasure to be with you. Thank you for having me.
I know you're a busy lady. So for everybody in the Wilde Space audience, I'm sure most of you have come across Willow Crossley before, but for those of you who haven't, shame on you, but for those of you who haven't, Willow Crossley is the most beautiful creative florist. She immerses her life in nature and her work around nature and brings nature into people's homes through her visual creativity, through her floral arrangements. And also has just released an amazing new book, which she will tell you about in a minute, which is all very exciting, the Wilde Journal. And as you can imagine, from Romilly Wilde to the Wilde Journal, speaking about nature and flowers and anything floral is very close to my heart. So thank you for joining us.
Pleasure.
Very, very excited. So how is life for you in Oxfordshire?
Life is, it's okay actually. I find very much that I'm having really good days and then the next day is not so good. There's a lot of this, which I kind of, when I speak to my friends, they're kind of feeling the same, but majoritively, obviously kind of excluding everything that's going on kind of in the real world around us. I've been really enjoying this kind of slowing down and being with my boys and Charlie, my husband, and I'm just kind of finally now, I can't remember what week we're on, like 4 or something, but I'm actually feeling that I'm properly kind of calming and slowing, and like I found myself sitting on the sofa reading a magazine yesterday afternoon, which I would never in a month of Sundays do. So I'm really enjoying this calmness.
Maybe you found your groove.
Yeah, but I worry about this. I'm never going to get up again and do anything.
No, but it's good. Do you know what? It's a moment in time. It really is. And it is flying by. And we are finding a new normal and this new level of consciousness, which I think is extraordinary, especially if you can share it with your children. I think that's beautiful. So do not worry about it. You will get off the sofa. It's just especially with you, with being so creative around nature and flowers and everything, you'll pick up inspiration from things that you're naturally reading anyway.
Yeah, no, you're so true. And I'm finding, I don't know if you find this as well, that because there's almost less to think about, like all the kind of every day-to-day chores and the school runs and all that kind of stuff, that I'm noticing so much more. So in our kind of afternoon off or something, we have our walk, and we have these woods. I live in this little village, and we walk kind of 10 minutes down, and there's this beautiful wood, and it's filled with cow parsley. We had kind of bluebells just before, but we've got cow parsley and wild garlic, and it's electric, and this kind of white with this bright green. And I don't know if it's because everything else is kind of slowing down that I'm noticing this more than ever, and I've always appreciated it, but I just find everything's kind of highlighted.
I know what you mean. No, I completely know what you mean. It's like everything is more acute. And I think because similarly to you, I've left London, I'm in the country, I've got more time to do exercise. I do my Nordic walking on this beautiful walk, and I'm seeing, and you can smell the wild garlic, you can smell the bluebells, and it just is more vivid. And cow parsley is one of my most favorite. The minute you said cow parsley, it's a weed, right? But it's one of the most beautiful visual displays at this time of year, which I adore. And I hate it when people cut it down because they say it's a weed. But tell me, so you must have, so I do not understand the names of probably the majority of flowers. I know the basics, daffodil, tulip, rose, aurunculum, I think, or auruncular.
Ranunculus.
Thank you. And I also have my what are the tall ones with the purple here?
I think she's a lilac. No, that's an allium.
Allium. So some I know, but it must be like a candy shop for you. I'm curious, as well as what is growing in nature this time of year, which is abundant and beautiful, and just is this sort of floral display of nature, heaven. And we're so lucky we don't live in a city and that we can appreciate all this right now. So most of these are probably, I've just picked weeds, but anyway. But I'm just curious to know, let's just say you're planning a beautiful event, a wedding or a celebration of some sort. You've got the choice of some of the most exquisite stems. Clearly those are spectacular works of art in their own right, these beautiful stems. And I love how you call the scent being when you call that you're the first,
the leading lady.
The leading lady. I just think that's genius. I'm going to keep that as the leading lady. I've learned so much from you.
Oh.
So you have your leading lady, and then you have your counterparts. You then have the peer groups that just join the leading lady and create this beautiful floral creation. But where did you get your knowledge? I'm curious, because I know you grew up in Wales. Were you one of those, I've got this thinking that you were one of those gorgeous little tomboy girls that probably was always falling in puddles and climbing trees and getting stung by nettles and things like that. Were your parents really, did you grow up in nature? I'm guessing you must have done.
Yeah, completely. My mum is the most incredible gardener. And she's like an encyclopedia. You can look at any flower, any weed, any tree, and she knows them. And growing up, she would like get them into us, and she'd like say, well, what's this? What's this? This is this. And I do that with the boys now, because I don't think I paid enough attention to her, because she used to drive us insane. She'd be like always weeding away. I've got 2 brothers, and we'd be like, oh God, so boring. And now I'm like, oh my God, I'm just the same. But I think when I like jobs and things, knowing all the flowers, that's because often, say I'm ordering from Holland, I try and buy most of my flowers locally and seasonally. So like now I'm buying British tulips from down the road and things. But if I'm doing kind of a massive event and I need hundreds and thousands of the same type of stem, I have to buy from Holland. But when I'm buying them, I have to know all the names. So it's never been a case of sitting there going, right, I'm going to learn this and this. You just pick it up as you go. And I think floristry is a very kind world. So the way I work, it's my business, and then I have an amazing team of freelancers, and they're all working for other wonderful florists. So we all get together, say kind of every month or whatever, and I'm always learning something from them, and we're all kind of picking up bits, be it certain flowers. I'm always getting the names of flowers wrong. And they're like,
seriously, even you?
Yes, all the time. And even like going on walks in the woods, and all these beautiful little wild flowers are coming up. And I know I should know them all, but I haven't got a clue about half of them.
Oh my word.
That's like, Mummy,
Mummy, in your back pocket, what is this? Oh, I'm glad to know. But yeah, as well as flowers, another thing that you do with your arrangements, which I love, is just seeing nature in totality. So shells, feathers, logs, just having that, you think, okay, flower arrangement, vase, but no. Move away from the vase, find a beautiful bucket could look amazing. And as you say, that to bring an eclectic style into your home and not have that sort of formality, because when I think of formal floral arrangements, I'm sort of immediately thinking 1980s, when everything came in those flat pack. You probably weren't even born then, but these sort of standard floral bouquets that came, and they weren't, there was nothing creative in their coming together at all. And so anything formal, I guess you need to bring frivolity into it, and you do that so beautifully, because nature is not formal. Nature is chaos. Nature is this sort of abundance of things fighting for light and space, and I love how you bring that into your arrangements, which is, I think, something that's only really come in through your designs and like-minded floral designers recently, which I love, that just to bring that sort of that playfulness into floral arrangements. You must have such a great time when it comes to, when you're given a brief. Okay, I'm going to put you on the spot. When you're given a brief for a super smart wedding, and do you often, I guess they're coming to you because they know your designs and your style, but there must be some really, what's the craziest thing you've asked to include in a formal arrangement for a wedding or something like that?
Do you know what? I'm going to really disappoint you. I've never really, I mean, once a wedding planner came to me and said, so I don't think this is very you, and please feel free to say no, but the bride, it was the most beautiful venue kind of near here, and the bride wanted the whole thing to be red and black.
Oh, hello.
Yeah. And I remember she sent me, like, they send kind of inspiration images, and there was a tight red, I can't bear red roses anyway, but they were tight red roses, and they had like pearls stuck, fake pearls stuck on for like water dew balls, and there was a cake with like black dripping down, and it literally brought me out in a rash. I couldn't. I said,
that is very goth. That doesn't sound.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I don't think I could have done it. As in, I wouldn't have been able to do her ideas justice. Yeah. So I said, can't keep it. No,
things like so I for my wedding, I was married very luckily to my fabulous husband only 5 years ago. We used a local lady called Miranda Fairhurst. I don't know whether you've come across her.
Yeah, she's wonderful.
And we used pomegranates and artichokes, and it was figs.
Your dream.
Because I wanted it to be like a Tuscan affair. So
was it in Tuscany?
No, it was here.
Yeah.
But I wanted the food was Italian, and everything needed to be, like we were in some medieval Italian castle. But to bring food into the floral arrangements, everything was amazing.
Oh.
But well, I just want to talk briefly about your book, because you talk about healing through nature and nurture through nature. So obviously that's something that's incredibly relevant right now, because the word to heal, and I'm having so many conversations with so many incredible people at the minute about how to trust our own human selves to be able to self-heal, but you need to open up your mind to think how it is there. It does not come in a prescription. To be able to be at your strongest, most robust self, just look at nature. Now, I'm one of those people who I rattle with supplements. I always am very particular about what I eat. I have a very clean diet, as you can imagine. Yeah. But my God, I miss a French fry. Oh man. Anyway. But how do you bring in that? How do you recognize that sort of nurture from nature outside of, obviously you're inspired by nature, but how do you bring that into your everyday life for you and your family? I mean, it is so kind of integral to our lives. I don't kind of feel that I'm making a decision to necessarily bring it in. It's so my hat is filled with kind of branches and flowers, and I got armfuls of cow parsley everywhere, and I have plants everywhere. I have, as you kind of shells, and it's just on every surface. Natural treasures make me happier than kind of plastic. And do you know what I mean? Does that make sense? Of course. So that's everywhere. But then I feel I don't work properly, kind of physically, emotionally, anything, unless I'm outside. So if I've got, say for example, if I'm writing, then I'm on a computer all day, and I can feel my mind shuts off. I kind of get adrenaline in my legs, and I need to be outside. I need that kind of green space. And I've kind of, the days when I've kind of been kind of doing this, and I've had kind of the low days, it honestly just takes me to go outside into the woods and just sit and breathe. And it sounds so kind of blasé and just a bit simple, but it truly, it mends me. But if you were in an apartment somewhere, how would you, apart from opening up your mind and listening to nature, you can download music of crickets or waterfalls and things like that, but I mean, we're obviously incredibly lucky that we can just step outside and there it is. No, you're so right. Apart from someone buying your book and just thinking, right, I can, because that transports you on that journey of how to be within nature and get the most out of nature. What would you recommend to people who are kind of a little bit sort of like, as you say, going stir crazy? And I know exactly what you mean by that adrenaline in the legs. It's kind of like, it's just, I can't breathe. And I think so many people are, you know, wherever they're living, can feel that sense of confinement, even if they are, you know, they have got, you know, a garden, or they have got 100 acres, whatever. You can still feel confined because it's all up here.
Yeah.
It's here, and it's here and in your heart. But I'm just thinking that there are ways that, do you do stuff like meditation? I'm just curious to think, how would you recommend someone can just go into nature if they can't access it?
So then I would do things like sowing seeds, filling your windowsill with herbs and cooking with herbs, like stargazing out your window, making cloudscapes, looking out the window. I do that. I used to do it when I was little. I remember it so fondly, and the boys love it now.
Oh, you sweet girl. No, exactly that. So it's there, you just look out your window.
Yeah.
And
flowering,
apart from Elon Musk's goddamn satellites that are flying around all the time, you get, the stars are beautiful. Totally, in this time of year, there are so many constellations, and the Milky Way you can see from us. But sowing seeds, heaven, little fromage frais, little tubs for sowing seeds. Seeds are as cheap as chips. Yes.
You sow them in those. I mean, my mum sent me some black sunflower seeds, and I'm not a general fan of yellow flowers on the whole, so I'm not a big sunflower fan. But these black sunflower seeds are the chicest things you've ever seen in your life. But they germinate in about 4 days. So that is like instant.
Exactly that.
I'm very impatient. So things like easy seeds, maybe cosmos sunflowers, they're very quick to germinate, very easy to look after. And I think if maybe you're trying to do things with children as well, they love things to eat. So radishes also really quick, or seeds.
Mustard and cress.
Yeah, all things like that. I just think they
yum bubble gum, mustard and cress and Marmite. Oh,
delicious.
But then you say that you're impatient. Children are even more impatient. That is just such a good idea. My children aren't at the age when they would enjoy that so much yet, but my eldest daughter is very much taking advantage of what was a very empty greenhouse and now is abundant. So we're growing potatoes, we're growing strawberries, we have got lettuce of all varieties. The taste is unbelievable.
The taste of real things.
Oh my God, never known like it. They're normally in bags with gases thrown into it, which just is going to like skew the flavour. But herbs, I love herbs, and I use a lot of herbs in my formulations as well, actually.
Yeah.
And I think there's we use things like red clover, marshmallow, schisandra, and some beautiful herbs that are all from helichrysum, chamomile,
dreamy
things that are so dreamy, and things that actually have been used for generations in soothing and healing and reducing inflammation, all those things, which is just, and they work. And I think people don't necessarily trust that nature works on a healing level. And I just think our bodies have become so sensitized to and impatient to have that quick fix mechanism, that fight or flight. I want it to work and it's got to work now. Whereas your body welcomes nature, i.e. you ingest and absorb and assimilate things from nature so much more easily than something that is synthetically or toxic or has a toxic derivation. So I think people need to trust in nature. People need to trust in what comes from nature, from plant. I mean, we use plant stem cells and their healing qualities. You might be interested in this. Give me a wink if you're not. But we use plant stem cells from extremophile plants. So those are plants or surviving plants. They are plants that grow in extraordinary environments, whether or not they be, plus 30 degrees, arid Arizona landscape, think tumbleweed. Or whether or not they're in Siberian landscapes where they literally are just,
brutal conditions.
Brutal, aggressive conditions. Yet innately in their cells, in their sort of fibroblasts, the very mother cell, they know just when to flick that switch when the environment is right. And then they put down their roots, and then they thrive and they grow. And there's something inherent in those plant stem cells that have got the incredible metabolism and energy to be able to just, when it's right, they bloom.
Go for it.
They go for it, hell for leather. And I think there's a lot we can learn from that. So one of the things I talk a lot about is the power of nature.
Mm.
But I guess this is why we're so well suited. That I do it from formulations, skincare preparations.
Yeah.
Everything is from nature, everything's from a plant source, but you literally work with them from a creative and those assets that are just abundant, and that you've turned a stunning business out of that. I salute you, my girl. I think that's
thank you,
bloody clever.
Thank
because
you.
I literally could not. I pick flowers and then I scrabble them together, chuck them in a vase, and I just think, that'll do, donkey. Cut one off. But when I look at your videos, I just think, oh my God, you made a posy look so easy to do. So thank you for those lessons.
Oh, you're welcome. I'm glad you enjoyed them.
You have taught me so much. And as soon as this mad lockdown is over and we are counting those days, we must hook up. I would love that. Whether you like it or not, I'm coming to you.
Good.
Because I'd love to see those boys.
Oh, yeah.
And we will connect, and we could, you know, I could just imagine, you know, doing, because when I was a kid, I literally was climbing trees, tomboy. I remember having a pestle and mortar and mushing flowers together, trying to make colors.
Yes, I used to do that. We used to sell them like this brown, like rose water petals, and then try and sell them for like 50p, and baffled when no one would buy them.
It's like a smudgy brown mess. It's perfect for you.
Yeah,
trust me. Okay, maybe we needed more PR and marketing skills at that age, but
I'll hand them over to you.
The intention was pure, and the intention stays the same. But listen, Willow, my sweet, thank you so much for joining me.
Oh, it's such a pleasure. Thank you for having me.
We will keep in touch, and good luck with that homeschooling.
Thank you very much. Really good to see you.
Yeah, lots of love.
Lots of love.
Bye, my love. Bye.
Bye.